Hi folks, it's Mayor Victoria Gearity coming to you on this Easter weekend, Saturday. We just started doing these daily Facebook Live updates on Monday, so this is the first time I've come to a weekend, and I wasn't sure if I'd do weekend updates, but I got some information from County Executive George Latimer today that I thought I would share. I already put up the map of Westchester, and so you may have seen that information already, which has the current official positive cases in every municipality in Westchester County. And the village today is up to 404 positive cases. It is important to keep that in some perspective. So I've got a little more insight into some bigger picture numbers, some trends that we're seeing that the county executive will go into more detail this week during his updates, but he gave myself and a number of other local officials a little heads up on what we can anticipate. And there's actually some good news. That's why I decided to come on tonight and to give you a little bit of good news. All of this difficult time that we're going to, where we're so physically separated from our friends and our family and coworkers and our community is paying off, and we're seeing positive results, including we're seeing a flattening of the curve in general. Specifically, hospitalization rates or intakes have been flattening out over the last few days in Westchester. So that's good news for all of us. And also, we now know that thousands who 2 weeks or more ago tested positive are now symptom-free. And that's great news. It's always good when you hear that even if someone did experience it, that they were able to recover. And fortunately, that happens to most people who contract it are able to recover. And of course, we know that there are many people who test positive, who may have it, but are not symptomatic. And so that's part of the lack of accuracy that we have in the numbers. The testing numbers that are done are really only done on people who are symptomatic, and typically they're prioritizing people who are in essential worker positions, and everybody else who's symptomatic. In fact, everybody who's symptomatic is being asked to just stay home, to slow the spread and to keep us on this path to flattening the curve. And we would be doing more widespread testing. If you saw Governor Cuomo earlier this week talking about the need for more testing of anyone who feels that they have been symptomatic, or just testing in general to get a better sense of what portion of the community, any of our communities, has it. Right now, the testing results that we have are more a reflection of where the tests are happening and who's being tested. Dawn asked, there seems to be an increase in sirens in Ossining lately. Any thoughts on that? Dawn, I don't know if there's technically an increase in sirens. I get the fire sirens on my phone regularly and at any time, and there's a few every day. We have an incredibly, the sirens are for the fire department. We have an incredibly busy fire department. I have not heard anything from the chief that they're concerned about an uptick. I can look back and see if I notice a trend. I don't believe that there has been an increase. You might just hear it more because there's not much else going on in our community, and we're spending that much more time at home. Our volunteer firefighters are busy year-round. I know at one point, the first weekend, or a weekend or two ago, people were getting out and taking care of their leaves. And there were a couple of occasions where people decided to burn their leaves, which is a terrible idea. Don't do that. Don't make our firefighters come out and fight an unnecessary fire. But for the most part, I'm not aware of an uptick, but I'll look into it. And if there is, then I'll report on that when I get back to you on Monday. I think I will take Easter off from giving a Facebook update. I also wanted to just recap some of the things we've been talking about this week, and things that folks had asked about. People asked about the death rate, and I get asked that, somewhat regularly. And we don't have the same kind of data for the number of deaths in Ossining that we do for the number of positive cases. And there's a number of reasons why. We do know that there have been some death certificates issued by the Ossining town clerk, where we know that that the person on their certificate died of the coronavirus. There are many instances where the cause of death is not listed as the coronavirus. Rather, it's listed as another health concern that they had. But if we know that that person had been exposed to someone who was tested positive, it's very likely that that's what actually contributed to their death. And then there are people, if they were in the hospital at the time that they died, then they would have been in another municipality. So, for example, if they were in Phelps Memorial, then it would have been the town clerk in, I assume, the town of Mount Pleasant that would be handling that death certificate. However, New York State, if you just want to get a sense of what's happening with the fatality rate, New York State at ny.gov, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page where they talk about coronavirus, you can find the COVID tracker, which has a lot of data about positive cases in New York State, broken down by county, and you can go to over in the lower right-hand corner, they have information that is just about the fatality rate. And as of a few minutes ago, the county fatality rate for people who live in Westchester County was 461. So that's Westchester County. I don't know how many of those folks are austining, and as I said, there's not a really reliable way to get that data at this point. My understanding from folks who deal in these kind of statistics and epidemiology is that it will take a very long time for us to have a more accurate picture of the portion of our community, of our country that has been that has experienced the coronavirus, what causes of death were actually linked to the coronavirus. Doctors are learning more all the time about the linkages between the coronavirus and other existing health concerns or conditions. So these numbers, as much as anything, will give us a sense of the direction things are going in. And that's actually the good news that, for those of you who just joined us, that's really the good news that County Executive George Latimer was sharing with myself and some other elected leaders earlier today, is that we are seeing a flattening of the curve here in Westchester. The hospitalization rate has been fairly flat for the last few days, and we are seeing recovery for thousands of folks who tested positive over 2 weeks ago. So that's all great news. A couple of other just news items for you to be aware of. If you are someone who is unemployed and you're eligible to apply for unemployment from the state, if you tried to do it earlier in the week or last week or in a previous week and were unsuccessful, I encourage you to go back and do it again. I can tell you my own husband officially became unemployed this week, and he spent 3 days trying to get through. He was told he had to call by phone and couldn't do it online, and then by the end of the week, and in fact, it had been Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff sent out an email saying, really, we made improvements to the website. And they had. And he was one of those people that now he was able to do it online, and it actually just took a few minutes. So if you tried to apply for unemployment and you were unsuccessful, I encourage you, please go back and try again. The New York State has done a very good job at updating their website to make more people be able to get their claims started online. And if you do need phone access, they've improved the phone communication. Also, the governor signed an executive order for absentee ballots for everyone. New York State never had, they used to make you, if you wanted to apply for an absentee ballot, to really, you could only do it if you were in certain categories. But now they are saying that anyone can apply for it if your access is being impacted by the coronavirus. The way that it reads is the absentee ballot application, which you can get from Westchester Board of Elections, or there's a New York State version of it. Check the box for temporary illness or physical disability. And then there's no requirement for you to show up on election day to the polling place. I like to think that by June 23rd, many of us will be out and about in the world, but I'm very, very pleased to know that wherever we are with our isolation and recovery and our health situation, that we are all able to vote. Any registered voters will be able to vote by mail. So make sure you do that in advance. There's dates by which you have to get your application taken care of, but you certainly have plenty of time now. Also, the census is still going on. I didn't look at today's number, but we were at about 40% response. Had 40% of households in Ossining Village had responded as of earlier this week. We want to get that as high as possible. A high rate of return for Westchester community 10 years ago was about 79%. I think that was Scarsdale. That was as high as anybody went. We were more around 64, as I recall. I'm not looking at the data right now. That's not good enough. That means that we are leaving money on the table. We are missing out on thousands and thousands and millions of dollars in access to funding, and we are being underrepresented in our county, state, and federal government. So that is not good enough. So if you have already responded, terrific. Please, if you're on social media, which obviously you are, go ahead and post reminders to your circle of friends. If you're on pages where people talk about it, please let everybody know you've done it. It was super easy, and it's incredibly important to the financial well-being of our community and for the democracy and being accurately represented by our community. So please encourage folks to fill that out, and they will be getting their paper versions in the mail if they have not yet. So particularly if you have any family members who are not comfortable responding online and haven't been interested in doing it by phone. Most people have done it online so far. Only a handful of folks have done it by phone, but soon you'll have the option to do it by paper, and that's fine. If you want to mail it in, mail it in. That's how a lot of us used to do it back in the olden days of 10 and 20 years ago. Fun fact, in the year 2000, I was a census enumerator. I went door to door and spoke to people and did short forms and long forms. That doesn't exist anymore. Now everybody just has the same 9 questions, which are pretty basic, not nearly as in-depth as those long forms used to be. And then, one of the other things, and this is just sort of a super annoying thing that I see happening all over Ossining, and I know it's not just Ossining because it's all over, there's articles written all over the place, is a lot of people are wearing gloves when they go out, and that there's mixed feelings on how valuable that is as far as protecting yourself because you use gloves and you touch 4,000 things. But the thing that's really a problem is that if you take them off your hands and then you get in your car and then you drop them in the parking lot next to your car, please don't do that. Not only is it just incredibly rude and it's littering, the reason why we're not going out right now is to not be spreading germs. So you wear these to try and keep yourself clean, and then you leave your gloves on the ground for somebody else to have to clean up. Please don't do that. It seems to be a real trend, and it's really counterintuitive because the person who is wearing those is doing it because they're concerned about spreading germs. So let's not make that acceptable behavior in Ossining. And I'll try and end on a little bit of a lighter note instead of scolding people for bad behavior. And just say, I wish you all a very, very happy Passover if you're in the midst of celebrating Passover, and Easter tomorrow for all of us who will be celebrating Easter. It certainly is a holiday year that we will not forget. And I hope you're able to connect with family in one way or another, by phone, by FaceTime, by Zoom. I think I might go and stand in my mother's yard and talk to her from 10 feet away and just wish her a happy Easter and my dad a happy Easter. The holidays are certainly a time that make us that much more keenly aware of the physical distance that we're maintaining from our friends and our family and from our community. I hope it is also a time that whatever you are experiencing, whether you are physically in pain and discomfort, or if you are fearful and feeling anxiety, I hope you are also finding reasons every day to feel grateful and silver linings in your experience. And I know I am. I am trying to, through the consternation of distance learning with my my middle school aged students, I am also remembering how grateful I am to have them here in my home and to be able to have all of this intense family time that will probably never happen like this again. And I'm also like you, taking time each day to be so incredibly grateful to the people on the front lines who are working under incredibly stressful conditions and putting themselves at risk so that all of us can be safe and healthy, and we'll get through this. We're a strong community. Soon we will be together again. Right now, every day that you stay home, you are helping save lives. And so I can encourage you to continue to do that even during this holiday weekend. And with that, I say happy Passover, happy Easter. I will see you on Monday.